Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly intuitive card reading for the collective for the dates of March 4th through 10th. Okay guys, before I jump in, you know what I'm gonna say. Please like this video, please subscribe to this channel, please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energy forecast for the week. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, about the comments. Guys, comments down below. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'd love to hear positive, negative. Just all I ask is just be kind. Love it if you guys put some comments down below. What else? I think that's it, guys. Let's just jump right into it and see what the week has in store for us. Let's begin. Need. I hope you guys can hear me okay. I live in New York City and there's a bunch of people out because it's so nice out. So people are screaming, playing sports, that kind of thing. So hopefully you can hear me. Okay, so what do we need? Wow, we haven't had this card in a while. Okay, we have Milk and Honey. Milk and Honey is the sweet things in life. Sometimes it's about bittersweet, but I'm getting more of like the good things, the good life. Oh my God, this is such a great card. Especially because there's a rainbow here, because that usually symbolizes, yeah, the rainbow comes after the storm, after something really stormy, okay? So we need to move to the things that are sweet, that's are positive, that are good, especially after a storm, okay? So we desperately need it. So in any way, shape, or form, however that resonates with you guys, go for it. Move towards things that feel best to you. Is it similar to a joy card? Not really. Kind of in this way, but really just we need things to be, I would actually say it's a little bit more similar to the peace card. You know, anytime we have a peace card, that type of energy. So that's what we need. Let's see what's actually in action needed so we can, because maybe get more clarity or it connects. Okay, we have Hermit, Retreat, and Recharge. Okay, so basically what this is saying is that we need a timeout, okay? Which is very interesting because if you guys saw the monthly for the March, but I did say this, it's not busy energy for March, okay? It is that we are starting to be more disciplined. We are starting to let go of the procrastination. We are starting to move forward more, but we're not just filling up the gaps in our schedule and in our time just to fill them up. This, you know, it is more about intentional action, but this is basically saying that we need to kind of retreat. So in my opinion, we are still doing something. We're just not necessarily, I think sometimes society, and again, not to get on my soapbox or anything, but sometimes I feel like society makes it seem like if we're not constantly busy doing something or producing something, we are not productive, right? And so this is saying that we really do need to I can't speak, guys. Retreat and recharge and kind of take it easy this month. But again, this week. But again, for this month, you know, like I said, it does feel like we're trying to move forward, but it's not about busy work. Okay, so if you guys feel like you're getting yourself busy, you know, just to fill in the time, fill in the gaps, you know, whatever it actually is, or just to keep your mind off of something, or, you know, just picking up a job maybe for extra money, which again, use your own intuition, guys. That's what I should really say in the beginning of these videos, but you might need more rest than you needed this week, and maybe that's not exactly aligned for you at this particular time. But let's keep going. Let's see if some of this slower type energy or anything else gives us clarity around these two cards. So far, we have Issue. What's the issue? Seeker. We have it in the light, though. Thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Okay. Oh, but we have it under Issue. Okay, so this is about being the seeker. A lot of you guys out there that follow my channel would consider yourselves truth seekers. I would consider myself a truth seeker. So we're always kind of trying to figure out root cause, trying to find the truth of something, our personal truth, the truth, you know, whatever it is. So we're very deep seekers. Okay. The fact that it's under Issue here is that we're having issues trying to find information, trying to get to the root cause of things, trying to figure things out, because it doesn't feel like we're having issues with the seeking. It feels like we want to, right? We want to find the truth. We want to do something. You know, we want to find that piece of information that we're kind of looking for, but we're having trouble finding it. You know, I give you guys examples sometimes. What's coming up in my head is like a journalist, right? I see them sometimes as like the ultimate, you know, truth seekers, especially if they're like an investigative journalist or a detective, right? And something very similar to this is the detective archetype. So this is about, I would actually argue though that the detective is more outwardly seeking, and then the seeker is more inward, right? We have to sometimes it's just like a more of a thought process, and the detective is actually the action oriented. So anyway, so this is, but very, very similar energies. And this is basically saying that we're having trouble finding that truth. So if you're a journalist and maybe you are, and again, I know this is really specific, but this is kind of coming up that will help figure this out, will help mesh this out, is, you know, you just cannot find the piece of information you need for the story that you're publishing this week. You cannot, you know, you cannot figure it out. You're just hitting walls, you know, witness after witness is not necessarily, providing the information that you need. You're hitting walls, you're, you know, coming to dead ends, that kind of thing. So it does feel like you guys, and I know that is super specific, but to broaden it out, because this is for the collective, it just feels like we may be hitting walls with information that we're seeking, and it's getting really frustrating, because I'm definitely getting this feeling of it being pretty frustrating for you guys, to the point that I feel like anger, I feel like frustration, obviously, and just like, you know, almost wanting to kind of give up. But let's actually see what challenges, because sometimes they are connected, like I said. Okay, we have sacrifice, and I think we've gotten this before. Maybe in the challenge section, I'm not sure. So this is about sacrificing something. So because these are next to each other and it feels like the energies are kind of connected, we might have to sacrifice something. And okay, how do I say this? We have to move forward without the information that we're seeking. It's almost like Spirit is asking us to move forward and sacrifice that piece of information. Sacrifice that we don't have all the answers. Sacrifice that, we couldn't figure it out quite yet, okay? And so that's what it kind of feels like. This could also mean sacrifice, meaning that we have to, and that's challenging, because if you are a true seeker in life, you want to know. It's gonna, you know, rack your brain. It's going to maybe eat you up, you know, not knowing what the truth is, or figuring it out, or, you know, especially like there could be so many, you know, especially if you're an overthinker, so there could be so much, you know, rumination and, you know, ruminating on your thoughts, and you know, and it could be you know, it could get to obsessive territory. That's why it's under the issue and the challenge slots here, because it's going to be challenging for you guys. So you have to kind of sacrifice not having all of the building blocks to what you need to move forward with, okay? So that is kind of specific, but also kind of broad at the same time, which is kind of crazy. But I think you guys kind of understand that you kind of have to move forward without that missing puzzle piece, and that is okay. That's what Spirit is saying, okay? But what is actually going to change, okay? So let's see some good positive stuff coming from here. Serendipity. Okay, this is good and positive and amazing. And so serendipity to me is kismet, is synchronicity, is, you know, everything kind of falls into place, kind of like the Fates card, kind of like the Destiny card, that kind of thing. So it's more towards flow. Everything is going to work itself out, right? So I love that that's following these two cards that seem very, very challenging and you know, forcing us to move forward without all of the, you know, the puzzle pieces, basically. So the change here is that things are going to flow more. So there is a certain level here of letting things go so you can move forward, so things can change. So you could always revisit this, okay? So let me say this from one truth seeker to the next out there, is that the truth always will come to light. I promise you that it will. It doesn't stay hidden for long, okay? So some of you may notice that I actually have a tattoo about this, okay? And this is what it is about. Maybe you don't know it is what it's about, but sometimes you see it on camera. I'm putting it on camera. Hopefully you guys can see that. But these are about the things that never fully stay hidden. It's the sun, it's the moon, and the third eye is the truth, okay? So, guys, I know what you're going through, okay? So, you will figure it out later though. Basically, it's saying the timing isn't right. The time, like, let it go and let things flow. Okay, I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it's true. So we have to kind of change things up, and you have to put this on the back burner for now. Okay, hopefully that makes sense for you guys, but I'm spending a lot of time on it because it seems really challenging and frustrating. Like, it feels like we're really going to be hitting walls, pulling our hair out, that kind of thing. So whatever it actually is, we have really do, you know, towards the end of the week, start to let it go and move on. Okay. Okay. Focus. We have protection, guardian, drop your shields. Okay, great. So this one is about letting your guard down, letting people in, letting things in, letting allowing stuff that maybe you've been strict about in the past. Okay, so we need to kind of focus on putting our walls down. So walls and boundaries are very different. Boundaries, the intention there is love, and then walls are really built on fear, ego, that kind of thing. So we've seen in the past, I think it was in the monthly, I think it may have been in the weekly too, or maybe 2 of the weeklies, we've got a lot of fear stuff kind of coming up. And so I know we're not done with the reading yet, but there is a fear card in here that does keep coming up, keep rearing its ugly head, saying that we still are carrying some fear that's not allowing us to move forward. So this is really positive in that aspect, is because we're really focusing on not allowing that fear to overcome us anymore. We're starting to kind of let down our walls and be okay with things that maybe in the past we weren't so okay with, but now they feel okay. Okay, if that makes sense. So we're really focusing on that. So guys, focus on, and again, use your own intuition, okay, about what is a boundary and what is the wall. Where have you been very strict, and possibly and probably for good reason, you know, for positive reason, but now you're kind of ready to not be so strict anymore. So focus on that. That would be a really good focal point for the week. Okay, what do we need to reflect on? Okay, we have God, but we have a shadow attribute, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Okay, so this is about relinquishing control. It's in the shadow, so it's under reflect. So basically it's saying, where can we really think about where we have tried to control things in the past? Looking at these two up here, where, you know, our ego is not letting us let this go, you know. Our thirst for knowledge, our thirst for truth is not allowing it to let it go. But this one is saying, where can we let go of control, right? And again, this is just another good area where we can, because it seems pretty big, where we can practice this, where we can put this into practice and reflect on it. Where are we trying to control things? Where are we not allowing let go and let God to come into our life and just let things go? So it's a really good reflection and journal prompt type question, something to really, really think about this week. Okay, responsibilities. We have fragility. Okay, so this one is about, did we have this again in that same slot? I think we might have. But this is about handle with care. So this is kind of pointing a little bit more towards self-care, taking care of ourselves. That's our responsibilities. It's always our responsibility, but it's not shocking, because action needed here is that we need to recharge, we need to retreat. So obviously that has something to do with self-care. What do we need? What are our needs are that we're not getting taken care of? But I do feel like we are extra sensitive this week, okay? Nothing wrong with that. It's just, you know, and I never really condone this, but, you know, maybe not putting yourself in positions where you can really get triggered, for example. Even though I am a believer that being triggered is a positive thing, it shows us where the unhealed parts of ourselves are. But basically, Spirit is just saying it's your responsibility, if you do put yourself in situations like that, that you are aware and prepared to deal with that. But, ooh, excuse me, Spirit will not fault you if you decide to dodge those situations or environments where you feel like you'd be heavily triggered, and that you retreat instead, okay? Okay, money and finances, and you guys know I put career in here. Time to go. I'm not shocked. Do you know why I'm not shocked? Because time to go is always about moving on from something, letting go. Lots of letting go, right? Up here going on. And right here, a lot of our controlling tendencies have come up, it seems. And so we need to reflect on where we are attempting to control. So this is this is having a let it go card, having a time to go, time to move on card, an ending type energy under money, finances, and career is not surprising. So because it's under that category, I would say some of you guys are going to be really thinking about leaving your your jobs, your careers, or leaving entrepreneurship, or leaving something, letting go of something, moving on to something else. Changing banks, it's under money and finances, changing how you make money. It could be 1,000 different things, but it's something, it has completed its cycle, it feels like, right? Something is, it's just not serving you anymore, right? And it's really time to go. So when it comes to something like that, I will say this, because of the action needed card is more of a rest and recharge, and I'm not getting overly masculine energy, at least not yet. I know we still have to pick a few more cards. I will say it's not necessarily going to come to fruition this week, okay? So leaving a job, it might just be a thought. It just might be a reflection. It just might be, you know, something that we're, you know, marinating on, something that we're thinking about doing, like that kind of thing. So it doesn't necessarily feel like it's going to be, how do I say, manifested into the world, like an actual tangible thing in our environments. It's just, we're starting to get this overwhelming feeling, because this is energy, is that, you know, we might be overstaying our, you know, where we are currently when it comes to money, finances, and career. I think you guys understand what that means, so I'll move on. Surprise. High Priestess, harness mystic power. Okay, amazing. So our surprise here is it's going to feel, you're going to feel a lot more powerful. I mean, that's great. I love when we get power cards. You guys know that the High Priestess is definitely a power card, where we start to come into our own and we start really feeling, we feel more empowered in our lives. And I love that it comes after a card of letting something go. So since that seems like a theme here, it's saying like, you may feel vulnerable, right? Because you're letting down your walls, or you may feel exhausted, you know, because it's asking you to retreat and recharge. So you may not be, you know, I would say kind of like the, you know, give it towards the end of the week, but you might not be feeling great going into the week because you have kind of all of these things going on that I just mentioned, vulnerabilities, you feel like nothing is good going on, so you're kind of seeking like the sweet, you know, the sweeter things of life. You have to let go of something. You can't figure something out. You need that puzzle piece. It's racking your brain. It's making you crazy. So you might feel a little out of control. And that makes sense why it kind of is asking us to reflect on our, you know, our abilities to try to, what we've been doing lately to try to control things, control outcomes, control things in our life that are uncontrollable. So we might feel out of control, but shockingly, towards the end of the week, this really weird week that we've been having, we're going to feel a lot more empowered just by letting go of things that no longer serve us and doing all these other things that I already spoke about. So that's a positive thing, and I love it. So definitely, we're going to start off the beginning of the week not feeling so great, feeling a little disempowered, and we're definitely going to move more into empowerment towards the end. So amazing. All right, let's look at Friends. What does Friends say? Oh, okay, we have hero, heroine, shadow, escapism, a false sense of heroism. Okay, so this is about, I don't think the Friends section was that great on the monthly either either the last weekly or the monthly for March. So this doesn't really surprise me too much. So how do I say this? Hero, so let me read the light. Maybe it'll make sense from that. Passion for a journey of personal empowerment. So you think about like I talk a lot about, I say the hero's journey, or being the hero of your own life. So it is a story of empowerment. It is a archetype of empowerment. But when it's in shadow, it isn't, right? It is a false sense of that, okay? So it's very interesting that we're coming off a power card to another card under Friends that says that this is a disempowering card, right? And so it's under Friends. So again, like I said, it doesn't feel great to me. But it feels like, I'm just going to say it, the best way I know how to say it is that it feels like there's going to be a lot of friend interactions this week that are going to feel disempowering. Okay, so maybe you'll have a friend that really has a victim mentality around money, and they are low-key jealous of you, and they've been saying all these jabs lately about you. That feels like it's going to come to a head, or be very apparent this week, or bother you more than most weeks, or something along those lines, or just becoming aware of these certain behaviors in people that are friendly, or in your friend group, or friendly. Yeah. So it could be acquaintances, it could be the people around you as well. So just be careful of that, because who you surround yourself with matters, is basically what Spirit is trying to say, because you are trying to get to an empowered place. And so having friends that drag you down, and let me say this, it doesn't feel like it's intentional. Like, they're not trying to do that. It's just watch your energy, because some people are just like that, right? Some people don't know that they have a victim mentality around money. People don't know that they're being energy vampires. People don't know that their gossiping is gotten to a level that's extremely unhealthy. Like, people just are not aware. So it feels like it's these behaviors that are accumulating and just very potent this week. They very much stick out to you, and attempt to bring you down, but again, not purposefully or not intentionally. So just watch your energy around your friends, which makes sense, because the action needed was to spend more time by yourself, maybe retreat, recharge kind of on your own. Like I said, for the March, it didn't feel like it was a busy month, and it also didn't feel like it was a social month either. So this makes sense to me, you know, in the first full week of March. So maybe not the most social week, but that might be Spirit kind of saving you, you know, quote unquote saving you, you know, from a lot of disempowering beliefs, thoughts, and energy in general that will come from them. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And it's unfortunate, because, you know, we want our friends to uplift us, but that's just not always the case, and that's okay. And it doesn't make it and I have to say this, it doesn't make it a toxic friend. It's just, that's what's kind of going on right now. And that's the energy of the week, right? I do these readings because we want to work with the energies, not against them, right? It's flow over force all the time. And we do have that flow card up there in the change. So things are changing. But it's, you know, not everybody can be perfect all the time. Just watch your energies, all Spirit is saying, okay? Romantic connection, we have guardianship. Okay, so this is interesting. This is about taking care of each other. Oh gosh, I always bend these cards like this. Okay, let me flatten it out a little bit. Okay, so guardianship. So if you're a guardian, you're somebody that has, sometimes it's legal, right? That has legal rights over you, right? That helps make the decisions in your life, kind of situation. So the fact that it's under romantic connection is interesting. I will say this. It feels like, for those people that watch me and are married, and this is really specific, I definitely do feel like there has something to do here with a big decision that needs to be made within the marriage. Again, this is for the people out there that are married, out there in the collective. I know I read for the collective, so it's a large amount of people, but that needs to be made, and it needs to be made in together. But it definitely does feel like it's not an even compromise. So let me try to explain what I'm trying to say. I will say this, that sacrifice card up there, I think I read it the last time. You guys know I read intuitively, as more compromise. Let's just put it this way. It doesn't feel like that this week. And so that makes sense to me, because the challenge this week is because we have to kind of sacrifice. So it's not going to be an even compromise here, because it feels like with the guardianship, there's almost one person that has more say than the other person. That's how it feels like. And so we have to sacrifice that, right? So that could look so many different ways. I'm not married, so I can't think of a marriage decision that may need to be made that might coincide with something like that. Okay, maybe this, you guys, your significant other, okay, so maybe a heterosexual couple, wife, husband. Husband needs to, finds out that there's a job in another state, and that would have him relocate, but your entire life is here. you know, where you are currently now. And so that's like a big sacrifice if you were to leave, because everything is there, including your job, including, you know, and it's not an even compromise if you have to leave. You're missing out on a lot, right? And so that's what it feels like. It feels, and it's not malicious. It's not like, there's actually nothing negative coming from it. It's just, it's almost like Spirit is saying like, well, it's gonna suck a little bit, you know, because it just feels like, you know, like I said, it's just more on the other person. It's more favorable to the other person. The other person has more of a say because they have more skin in the game, or, you know, and by the way, this job is maybe like more money or something like that. So they have more skin in the game, or they've been doing it for 20 something years, and, you know, they kind of have to go, you know, like that kind of thing. So it just feels like they have more skin in the game. That's how it feels like. And again, it's not bad. It's not negative. It's not malicious. It's not manipulative in a negative way. It's just, it kind of is what it is, and somebody else kind of has to make a decision for the unit. That's not necessarily, you know, let's just say it has hints of that sacrifice coming from it. So, which again is challenging. All right, let's move on. I think that makes sense for the most part. Importance, chaos, and conflict. Okay, so coming after the romantic card, damn, I don't think we had good, you know, super positive things coming from either of these in the monthly. So that tracks. That tracks. But this is coming off of what I just talked about, chaos and conflict. So it's important that we deal with it. That's what I'm getting from that, is that, you know, whether it's romantic, whether it's any kind of conflict, inner conflict up there with the seeker, you know, any type of conflict that we come to this week, that we have to deal with this week, it's really, really important that we don't let it get to an extremely chaotic place, or let it go without talking about it or communicating about it. Like, I know there's a zebra on this card, but Spirit is almost like showing me like an elephant. And to me, that's saying like, don't allow things to be the elephant in the room. Okay, we've all heard that term before. Basically, it just means that there's something there that's not being communicated, that something that's not being talked about, because this can turn into something way bigger. Okay, it's next to each other, so it's a little worrisome if you don't actually talk about it. So express your feelings, express, you know, your thoughts. Don't keep things inside. Don't allow the chaos and the conflict to blow itself way out of proportion. Okay, so it's important to kind of nip it into the bud. So if there's conflict, don't make it worse by not speaking about it, or feeling like you can't say something because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, etc., etc. Okay, so it's really important to nip the conflict in the bud and to really communicate, okay? There's a 33 on this card. It's jumping out. You guys know I pay attention to numbers, especially lately. 33 is always about communication, and it's also about creativity. So Spirit is also saying, because it's jumping out to me, that be creative with it too. Okay, so if you're afraid to say something about, you know, about something and it sounds horrible and you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, get creative with it. Okay, so use the power of linguistics and empathy to really communicate in a way that's super effective, that doesn't create more of a conflict. That's the best way I can say it. So all I can say is Godspeed, but, you know, especially to all my coupled up married people out there that might be, you know, dealing with a big conflict this week, sending that out to you. But that's just what Spirit is saying, and it's really, really important, like I said, to really communicate well. Okay, health and wellness. This is the spot I like. You guys know that. Star Ancestor, follow the voice of your soul. Okay, so this is about following your intuition, follow what your soul is communicating to you, after another communication card here. So this is about doing things intuitively and moving in that direction. And so we had a lot of, whether it was the weekly or I don't think it was the monthly. I think it was more last week or the week before. We got a lot of intuition cards where it's saying, please listen to your own intuition. Please do that. This is under health and wellness. So it's saying please still do that, and move into that direction. You know what's the next right step in your healing process, in your wellness, etc., etc. This is also confirmed by the Serendipity card, which is basically flow. And then we have the Hermit, retreat, and recharge. And so why I like that for intuition is because when we're spending time alone and we can hear our thoughts, our own thoughts, when we can hear our own feelings, not hear our own feelings, feel our own feelings. When we're alone, okay? We can, you know, we don't hear other people's opinions. We don't take other people's advice. Like, it's really centering ourselves and figuring out what we actually need and listening to, you know, our intuition, essentially. So, not too much more I could say there. Let's move on to overall outcome. Let's see what we got going on. We have eternal child, light attribute, determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Oh, I love that coming off of the health and wellness. Okay, so ability to see things with fresh eyes in a more positive inner child way, in a more youthful type way. So I love that. So I will say this, sometimes with there's a few child archetypes that kind of come through, and most of the time I read it with being playful, you know, connecting to your inner child in a positive way. This is about being, yes, playful, but like also youthful. And how do I mean this? I mean, doing things that maybe, yes, you would have done like as a child, but also like revisiting things from a while ago. Things that make you feel young. Things that make you feel a certain way at a certain period of time. You want to know what this feels like? This almost feels like nostalgia, okay? Where it feels like that things might be happening this week that will bring nostalgia in a positive way. Because again, everything has a shadow and a light, but it feels like this is in the light. It came in the light. So it almost feels like it's like things coming back to us in a really, really positive way. That really reconnect us to our soul and to our eternal child in a really, again, positive way. So I love that. That's kind of out of left field. So lately the overall outcomes have been kind of out of left field, but I'm loving it because I love that it's like under the surprise, because it's surprising me that these things are kind of, it's like a nice little, it's almost like the cherry on top of the week, you know, like that kind of thing. So it's just kind of like, look out for little pieces of nostalgia, or reminding you of your old things that are reminding you of your old self. And again, in a positive way, okay? I love this because the focus here, don't forget that focus. I don't know what to say when I title these videos, because there's so much good nuggets of wisdom that are coming out of them, that come out of these readings. But I don't know. I feel like it may have something to do with over here, because this is about letting people in again, being less strict about things, and kind of being more open, and like allowing life to kind of happen to you. Just kind of opening yourself up to maybe things that you have nipped in the bud before, or put up a wall against, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it has something to do with that. But again, this is for the collective. It could be for pretty much anything. And as you guys know, please, I mentioned this earlier, the comments are so important. I love reading them because I like to see how these energies apply to your own life, how they resonate with you, and how things have gone down during the week. Because it's sometimes I get these messages and I'm like, what the heck is Spirit talking about? And then I see it in my own life, and then I love just seeing it, how it manifests in yours as well. So because we are so different, but we are really all the same, right, at the same time. So anyway, so there's some youthful energy, some positive nostalgia kind of going on this week, and that's like the cherry on top, and that's a positive thing to kind of get you through the week. So that's great. So okay, guys, I don't think I can say too much more. I think that's it. So it's a pretty positive week. You know, like I said, I think the hardest thing is those issues and challenges with really kind of, you know, and especially, like I said, if you guys resonate as the truth seeker archetype, you know, as something that is really important to you, and it's just not going to be a great week for that archetype, because we're going to be missing things, but we have to move on anyway. Okay, so basically keep that in mind, guys. So I see it being a very frustrating week at times, but again, a more nostalgic week, a more flow type week. So like I'm not even that worried about this corner here. I think you guys are going to be so frustrated that it might just overpower the week a little bit more. But again, this week is actually more about, you know, getting, you know, fulfilling your own needs than really so much your social circle or et cetera, et cetera. So, okay. I think I've talked enough. That's it. Have a wonderful week, guys. I'll see you for the next weekly, and take care of yourselves. All right. Bye.